If coronavirus is the disease X the world has been fearing, then it possibly began somewhere like this, among a colony of bats.
There's sleeping time bombs across the region right now.
And then somehow the virus almost certainly crossed over to humans at so-called wet markets.
It's in northern Italy. Then the absolute centre of this epidemic is here, in the town of Bergamo. More people have died here than anywhere else, and they still are, every day. The virus storm swept through these beautiful ancient streets. This medieval town and its modern city is utterly locked down. Only a few venture out. Everyone knows someone who has died or is ill, and everyone is scared.
Purtroppo sì. È doloroso non poterli salutare, è doloroso lasciarli soli, e viene un po' di tristezza. C'è molta tristezza. Scusi. Sì, non è purtroppo vedere i propri amici, i propri parenti che se ne vanno piano piano, proprio così, vedere.
Every street is empty. All people are told to be inside. It's a total shutdown for the entire world. It's unprecedented. No one has ever seen it before. You can see here, there's no life anymore. All people are indoors. They are told to be inside. But what should be done? And what lessons are there to be learned? What China has done in order to be able to save many lives, that Italy has not done, or America has not done. And ourselves, we have to be ready, prepared. If the worst come to the worst, how are we going to save our people? There have been so many information that is going around on the internet, and now at the moment, people don't know what to believe and what not to.
Wow.
It's a plague that only God can stop. They will do everything, but God shall give power to his people.
I want to tell you something. This is real. This is not a movie, and it's not a false information. The virus is for real. You need to take care of yourself. You need to listen to the experts and listen to your governments as they advise you to stay away from public places. We need to learn lessons out of this. China has tried very hard to apply strategies that have been very severe. China are very hardworking people. The economy is very industrial, and they are very, very busy economy. For the government to take up drastic measures to close the entire country, you need to know this is more than serious. From China, the virus spread the entire world. So this means if it can attract so many populations, so many different governments applying the same measure, it means this is more than ever. This is unprecedented. It's the first time that the world has ever experienced something of this magnitude to reach an extent of closing the entire nation. This is very, very severe. The damage is very, very big. We cannot even explain.
It doesn't feel that life here will ever be the same again. In the total lockdown, volunteers take food and supplies to the most vulnerable, the old and the already sick. They also take medicine to those who would simply die if they were infected. Valentino Trivia lost his uncle to the virus this week. Like so many, he wants to help. Like so many, he's broken inside.
Perché
stiamo sentendo molta gente che è in difficoltà. Quindi quando stare a casa continui solo a pensarci e basta. Un po' di aiuto.
Need to take lessons from China and apply them to our countries to be able to save lives. Ask yourself, what is that Italy did not do that China did? We have seen so many people who have died in Lombardy, Italy. So many people have died.
A day after another morbid milestone, 919 dead on Friday, the most in one day in any country. Global cases rising above 650,000, with more than 30,000 dead. The Pope cutting a lonely figure with a special prayer for those facing hunger due to the virus. The 83-year-old and his close colleagues testing negative for the virus today. Despite nearly 3 weeks of a national lockdown, the government now possibly extending that date to mid-April. Police are tightening the rules. Fines increased to up to $3,350, up from $230 earlier. In nearby Spain, authorities today reported 832 more deaths, the country's highest daily count yet, bringing the total to 5,690. This ice rink converted into a makeshift morgue. Hospitals struggling to cope. Health workers infected here at an alarming rate. More than 9,000 contracting the virus. Soldiers today disinfecting hospitals, train stations, and flying a drone to disinfect the streets. A national lockdown extended to April 11. But in China's Hubei province, where the pandemic began, a glimmer of hope. 4 consecutive days without new infections. The region now opening. Shoppers and supermarkets, the metro service prepped to restart. The worry here is a new outbreak coming from outside. Beijing announcing a temporary ban on foreigners coming into the country. But even the most stringent measures struggling to stop.
In Lombardy, Italy. What is that Italy had to do quickly before the loss of many lives? We need to take our lessons. And if we take lessons from China and apply them in our communities, we are going to be able to save many lives. What happened in Italy, we don't want it to happen in our communities. We don't want it to happen in our countries. I've had many people who are saying, this virus is not for us. This virus is for Europeans. This virus is for Chinese. You know, even President Trump calling it the Chinese virus.
Chinese virus.
Why do you keep calling this the Chinese virus? There are reports of dozens of incidents of bias against Chinese Americans in this country. Your own aide, Secretary Azar, says he does not use this term. He says ethnicity does not cause the virus. Why do you keep using this? A lot of people say it's racist.
It's not racist at all, no, not at all. It comes from China.
We need to come together and listen to one another. We need to learn from each other. If we learn from those who are better than us, from those who have done it before us, then we'll save many lives. China has used different technologies to save lives. They have developed even robots that were not there to detect people who are moving in towns with the virus. They developed robots to spray everywhere in infected places. They developed robots delivering food into the rooms of the people who are sick in hospitals. They had to do that in order to avoid contact, man-to-man contact. They had to develop technology to be able to save lives. Now, what is that the Italians did not do? Let's see why Italians have lost so many lives. Listen.
It continues to rise. They don't believe they've reached the peak yet. Times are strictly allotted for the funerals of loved ones to take place, and there's a huge backlog. They break the curfew to pay their last respects at the town cemetery.
Italy. The morgue is full, so bodies are being kept here until they can be buried. The intensive care unit has no beds left. Medical staff are struggling to cope.
Stops. They're telling people to stay indoors. This is what a total lockdown looks like in the centre of the coronavirus epidemic in Italy. This is Bergamo, the dead centre. It's quite scary. You don't really get used to it. It is apocalyptic, and of course here they're calling it the apocalypse. It doesn't feel that life here will ever be the same again.
They did not act so fast to introduce what we should call suppression strategy. When you suppress, you close the entire nation. You keep people in their homes. Let people sit home. They stop working immediately.
The mayor, Giorgio Gori, who brought his daughters home from the UK so they could live under the lockdown in Italy because it's safer, is working 20 hours a day. He admits he's obsessed with COVID-19 data, contacting the mayors of other towns and building a picture of the actual death rate here.
There isn't any official study on this.
He's convinced the official numbers are an underestimate because too many deaths aren't being included. The number of dead may actually be higher. Why is that?
In this moment, only people with heart symptoms are tested in the hospital. If you are with a high temperature in your home with cough, you are not detected. The doctor will say you stay at home, take this medicine, and if you breathe quite well, you don't need to be recovered brought to the hospital. So you are not in the statistics. Okay? If you die in this condition, you are out of the radar. You are not considered as died for coronavirus.
Late for them to save many lives. Right now, they are standing at 10,000 people who have lost their lives.
A day after another morbid milestone, 919 dead on Friday, the most in one day in any country. Global cases rising above 650,000, with more than 30,000 dead. The Pope cutting a lonely figure with a special prayer for those facing hunger due to the virus. The 83-year-old and his close colleagues testing negative for the virus today. Despite nearly 3 weeks of a national lockdown, the government now
what we want to see in our countries. We don't want to experience seeing people losing their family members.
What do you say to Americans who are upset with you over the way you downplayed this crisis over the last couple of months? We have it very much under control in this country. The coronavirus is very much under control in the USA. It's going
You can lose at this moment, but knowing that your people are safe. Our governments, they have done the best strategy because they have seen what happened. What did China do in order to save lives? China did the best strategy ever that anybody couldn't have thought about to close the entire nation. It is unprecedented. It has never happened. And it has never happened that anyone has ever seen such drastic measures applied in any country. Never before. Not even the entire world to close down, to shut down everything, shutting down at the same time. It is unprecedented. We've never seen it before. So we need to know that this is serious. You who's watching me and you're having doubts, this is the time that you have to start respecting and listening to the experts, because they went all their way, risking everything they had to save lives. That was not easy. China, you have done it all. China, you have done us proud. We are very proud of you and thank you for the great work you have done. This is very big. This is unprecedented. You are an example to us. China has played a very big role for the entire globe. We are going to take an example from you in order to be able to fight the virus. Had to build a hospital, as I've told you, within 6 to 10 days. Hospital was in operation. That is very big. We need to learn so many things from them. That is how we are going to protect our own citizens, and that is how we are going to be able to fight the epidemic. We need to do it together. Forget about race. There's no xenophobia in this fight. This is a war, and we are fighting it together as the entire world. The virus does not know color.
Some people may think this disease is something that doesn't concern them and that it will never affect them. That it is something they only read about in newspapers or social media or see reports about on television. But it is very real, and it poses a great danger to every one of us and to our society as well. It infects the rich and the poor, the young and the old, black and white, those who live in the cities and those who live in the rural areas. Let us not make the mistake of thinking that this is somebody else's problem.
Experts believe that once the virus penetrates the continent of Africa, the damage will be more severe, more than Europe and more than Asia, because many people are very skeptical about it. Let's please try to listen and follow instructions. Let's believe that this is for real. I'm sure with all the information that you have seen in the program, and so much is unfolding every minute about COVID-19, you'll be able to make your own judgment whether to suffer the consequences or take care of your family and your own country. Don't forget to wash your hands, avoid going to social places, and as well, keep a distance. This is not a time for ice cream. It's not a time for shopping. All that will be done later after we finish to win this battle. May God bless you. See you next time. Bye-bye.